Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the next chapter, that is double entry system. So in this chapter we would be seeing the rules of different types of accounts and how we would be applying these rules to our journal entries. So first, what do we mean by double entry system? According to this system, every business transaction affects at least two accounts in opposite direction. So double entry system is nothing but every transaction of the business will have two effects, but in the opposite direction. That is, one will be debit and one will be credit. So for example, if the furniture is purchased in business, what will happen? The furniture has increased, but to buy the furniture, what we have paid? Cash. So our cash will decrease. So debit furniture and credit cash. So every business transaction will have two accounts in opposite direction. Next, what are the characteristics of double entry system? Every business transaction affects two accounts. So as I've already explained, every business transaction will have two effects. One account will be debited, one will be credited. Next, recording of both personal and impersonal aspects. Both personal and impersonal will be recorded in a double entry system. It is not necessary that we need to record only personal transactions or we need to record only impersonal. We record both personal and impersonal aspects. Next, we have recording is made according to certain specific values. So in double entry system, one account is debited, one account is credited, but we cannot randomly say what will be debited and what will be credited. There are certain rules which need to be followed, and according to that we will be deciding whether one account will be debited and which account will be credited. Next, it is preparation of trial balance. So in case of a double entry system, debit will always be equal to credit. So if the furniture is purchased for 10,000, there is an increase of furniture of 10,000 and decrease of cash of 10,000. So every debit will be equal to the credit. So what will happen in this case? It will help us to prepare the trial balance, which will be helpful in finding out the arithmetical accuracy of the accounting. Clear? So now we'll be classifying our accounts. There are two types of account, that is personal as well as impersonal. Impersonal is further divided into real accounts and nominal account. So one by one we'll be seeing both the personal and impersonal account, and we'll be seeing the rules of debit and credit for these accounts. First one is personal accounts. What is personal account? It can be a firm name, an individual name, or institution name. Say for example, Mr. X account. This is a personal account. Then we have ABC Limited. This is also a personal account. Then we may have bank account of the owner or proprietor. This is a personal account. Drawings account of the owner. Whenever the account is of the owner or the proprietor, it will be your personal account. So what is the rule for the personal account? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So let us take an example so that you understand this particular rule very clearly. Paid rupees 10,000 to Mr. X. So first we need to see which two accounts are affected. There is Mr. X account and there is paid. Paid means there is cash account, that is money is going out of the business. So what is the rule? Debit the receiver. Who is receiving money over here? Business is paying money to whom? Mr. X. So who is the receiver? Mr. X account debited to cash account. Debit the receiver. We are debiting Mr. X as he is the receiver. One more example. Received rupees 500 from Mr. Y. So what is the rule? Credit the giver. Who is the giver here? Mr. Y. And what have we received? Cash. Cash account is not your personal account. It is your impersonal account to Mr. Y's account. So the rule is very simple. Whoever has received will be debited and whoever has given will be credited. Next, there are three types of personal accounts. First one is the natural personal account. Natural personal account will be nothing but Mr. X account, Mohan's account. That's the name of the person. Or it can be the proprietor's capital account, proprietor's drawings account, debtor's account, creditor's account will be all our natural personal account. Next we have artificial personal account. Artificial personal account does not have any physical existence. For example, it can be a firm's name, limited company's name, any institutional name. So all these are artificial personal account. And the last we have is representative personal account. When an account represents a particular person or group of persons, it will be representative account. So what are the examples for representative personal account? Outstanding salary, prepaid salary, pre-received salary, outstanding incomes. All these will be a representative personal accounts. So natural personal account is the name of the person, proprietor's capital account. Artificial personal account do not have a physical existence, and representative personal account, they represent a group of person or a particular person. Clear? Next we have real account. The accounts of all those things whose value can be measured in terms of money and which are the properties of the business is known as real account. So properties of the business can be furniture, machinery, all your tangible assets, intangible assets. Then it is measured in terms of money. So your cash account, your bank account, all these also will be your real account. So real accounts are divided into tangible and intangible. So what is the rule of the real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Let me give you an example. Furniture purchased for cash. So what is coming in? Furniture is coming in. It is a real account. Furniture account debited. Credit what goes out. What is being credited? We are paying cash to cash account. So the rule of real account is very simple. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Last we have nominal account. These account will include all expenses or income. Say salary paid, salary received, rent paid, rent received. All these become our nominal account. So what is the rule? Debit all expenses or losses, credit all income or gain. Say for example, salary paid rupees 100. So what is the expense here? Salary is an expense. So we are debiting salary account. And what will be credit? What are we paying? Cash. So to cash account. So salary account is nominal account and cash is real account. What is the rule for real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So cash is going out, so we have credited it. And salary is a expense, so we are debiting it. So the first thing we need to know is find out which are the two accounts involved in this. It is salary, it is cash. So salary is which kind of account? Nominal account. What is cash? Real account. And then apply the rule and decide what will be debited and credited. Always remember one thing. are outstanding salary, outstanding rent, pre-received rent, prepaid rent. All these will be a personal account and not a nominal account. Clear? They are a representative personal accounts. So let us revise the rules again. These rules are very important, and with the help of these rules we can pass the journal entries. So the first thing, we have three accounts: personal account, real account, nominal account. Personal account can be natural personal account, that is name of a person, debtors, creditors, proprietary's owner account, proprietor's capital account. Then we can even have the name of the institution, name of the firm. So what is the rule for the personal account? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Next we have real account. Real account will be cash of a firm, or it will be the properties of the firm. It can be tangible or intangible. Say for example, furniture, goodwill, cash account, bank account, all these will be a real accounts. The rule is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Last we have the nominal account. Under the nominal account, we have all the expenses or income. So the rules are debit all expenses, credit all incomes. So this is very important and you all need to remember these rules thoroughly. So clear? So that's all for today. We shall be continuing the remaining chapter in the next class. Thank you.